Todd, DT.
G'day, chat. We're here.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. It's Wednesday again. Another Curse of Strahd-Ep episode 76, I believe it is this evening. We are missing a Fibblestib for at least the first half, as per usual. And Baz dropping a resub, 26 months. Damn, been that long. Holy crap.
Yeah, I've been pregnant a while.
Still brewing that thing. We'll see. Be a big one when it's born then.
Sure will be.
I suppose we better turn on the gaming PC so you can actually see what's going on over here. So episode 76 tonight. Last week was an interesting one, to say the least. We will be picking up pretty much where we finished last week, so we'll definitely get a recap in very shortly. Welcome in, Mr. Roasted Chicken. I know you're a busy man these days. Work, uni.
I'm really hoping that once I figure out how to study effectively, I'll actually have time to just be around, just say hello. Just to, I don't know.
That won't happen.
No, probably not.
Maybe play one game, maybe if I'm lucky.
Of course, as we have said previously, that when Curse of Strahd has come to completion, we will be doing a campaign with Roasted Chicken as a DM, which will be on a Wednesday night. So we're definitely looking forward to that coming up anytime soon. Sunday nights are our homebrew game. Unfortunately, we had to skip last week due to illness from a couple of our players who are still not 100%. So best wishes out there to Grim and Mina and the kids who are suffering with the dirty old COVID at the moment. So yeah, definitely, guys, make sure you send them all your warm fuzzies and things, and hopefully they get better real soon. So at this stage, we're not sure what's happening Sunday, because I want to make sure those guys are all sorted before we continue. So we may be skipping Sunday this week as well. If we do, I'll probably do some more monster or map stuff, just like we did this week. So, and speaking of our monster stuff, we created a whole bunch this week, courtesy of Baz as well, with the DMs that he sent me in Discord. We have put a number of his homebrew creatures into campaign 2. Into my list of creatures to throw at the players as well. There were some awesome creatures in there. Ones that I've come up against myself in our home game, and they were nuts. And a couple that have come up in a one-shot. So looking forward to chucking those guys at the players. And of course, our hybrid...
I'm excited.
And our hybrid creatures that courtesy of the chat. Cool. And of course, Trashy come up with his own creature as well, which I thought was kind of cool. And we've managed to actually create 3 monsters based on his one idea.
I'm actually excited to coming up against those ones.
Yeah, well, it'd be really interesting if you die first to that creature. That'd be funny as hell. Yes. Karma, man, karma. No Jacks, no bee dolphins.
It'll chew his hand off, probably.
Possibly. That Uth may lose a hand. It might become a canon thing that all Trashy's characters have to lose a hand.
Oh,
Anywho, with that being said, that leads us into obviously our session tonight, because that's pretty much where we left off last week. So
I apologise again, Trashy.
Never apologise. Never apologise.
It's all good. It's all good.
We just now have to find a druid. It's cool. If only we had a druid. Oh wait.
Yes, there is a spell which is a bard, cleric, or druid spell, which is called Regenerate. So a bard or a cleric can do it as well. So you might have to look. You might have to find a cleric or a druid that might be persuaded to regenerate it, or a time lord.
We had a druid. What happened to our druid?
Oh, I think you had one once. Yeah.
Yeah. What happened?
I'm actually keen on a mechanical hand myself, but anyway.
Oh yeah, we can work that.
Oh, there's that as well. I mean, that may happen.
That's cool.
So
I was thinking about like a retractable grappling.
Hey, if you get the tools, you got the time, anything's possible. So last we left off, you had made your way down the mountainside. Some of you narrowly avoided being swept off the mountain by the avalanche that you guys had created on your way down to avoid the snow trolls. Now inside the tower at the bridge Selenka Pass, deciding to rest there the evening, you gathered firewood, you organised yourselves somewhat ad hoc experiments with a spell idea. which kind of goes according to plan, but kind of not all at the same time. In the process, frying a rabbit for dinner, which was never a bad thing, but obviously you had plenty of food with Fibble casting Create Food and Water. From there, you woke in the morning, you prepared yourselves, hitched the horse to the cart, and then Zadriel attempted the first time to dispel the magical barrier that was blocking your way. Unfortunately, she was not able to. With a little bit of inspiration from Adok and an advantage from the chat, she managed to concentrate a little harder and managed to just dispel the barrier blocking your way. Crossing the bridge, now heading down the mountain, leaving Mount Garcus, the snowy region of Barovia, behind you. Timothy slowing your travel somewhat, as his large size does weigh down the wagons considerably. Because of this, eventually another wagon is seen approaching from the rear, slowly catching as it travels down the road. Much discussion was had backwards and forwards as who it might be. Messages sent confirming that it was a Vistani wagon. The wagon slowly gains. Eventually it's decided that you to pull over and allow them to pass, at which point they gain alongside of you and stop, and the conversation is had. By this time, I believe that your disposition with the Vistani had definitely kicked in and determined the outcome of this encounter, allowing them to leave, but a short time after, a fireball was cast, and the wagon incinerated, killing all inside, including the horses. Once you had driven up to where the wagon was, it was discovered that the wagon itself was not empty, was not just the driver and his companion. Several innocents inside the wagon were also killed, according to Skathis, who then proceeded to attack Adok, jumping from the wagon in frustration, walking a fair distance before eventually Zadriel holding out a hand and him climbing back aboard. After a short time, you find yourselves a suitable place to camp, and you set yourselves up. Tents are pitched, fire is built, and then another conversation is had. Skathis voicing his opinion about the so-called innocents in the wagon. Those opinions were not shared, however, by the remainder of the party, who initially, I believe, by Zadriel's lead, informing him that these innocents would eventually be the aggressors in this land. Karnos agrees, as did Adok. So did Fibble. Again, frustration takes the better of Skathis, and he stands and turns to walk away, making a decision that would ultimately not be a good one for him. However, turns and dashes forward, grabbing a hand axe from Karnos's holster he has on his breastplate, and in that moment reaches out the hand axe to Zadriel, makes a statement, but in that same moment Karnos stands, believing Skathis to be moving in an aggressive manner towards Zadriel at that point, stands, raises the sun sword and severs Skathis' hand at the wrist. Dropping him to his knees, clutching his wrist, Zadriel then reaches forward and casts Lay on Hands to close the wound and stem the bleeding, stopping Skathis once again from meeting death, which he most certainly would have if she had not. In that moment, Fibblesib looks over and is, what the fuck? And this is where we rejoin you guys now, as you have Skathis. You're still kneeling in front of the campfire, clutching your wrist. The pain is definitely still there, even with the heal that you've been given, which closed your wound. You're looking at your severed hand on the ground, Karnos is still standing over you, blade still held relatively high, waiting for any kind of reaction from you. Zadriel has probably still leaning forward slightly after releasing the lay on hands, looking on, maybe in bewilderment at this point. Adok and Fibble both sort of sitting slack-jawed at what has just transpired. So I'll now turn it back over to you guys as this moment unfolds.
I'm just going to be kneeling there, clutching the stump with my head down, just not saying anything.
Zadriel's gonna rush and get some cloth and try to start ripping it up to wrap around the stump.
I mean, the wound is closed, but it's still raw,
But it's
100%.
like right
yeah,
there.
it's still
trying to
very
keep it
raw.
clean.
So
Dust-
easily enough done.
and
It's gonna be.
Where you go?
I'm just looking up at Karnos like,
And at the same, I'm going to be doing the same, holding Skathis' hand, which I assume is like blood stripping out, just
Pretty much.
Carlos will lean down and pick up the small hand axe that Skathis used at Zadriel's neck. And he will pop it back in his sheath, and he will sheath the sunsword, and he'll be like, I thought he was going to attack you. It's all good. Just heal him back up, and we'll be ready on our way. You shouldn't... I reacted. I apologise. Just hold his hand to the stump and cast a heal, and you'll be good as gold. I've seen it before.
I can't do that. I can heal, but I can't
Oh,
glue it on.
Just sew it back on, and his own blood will make it... It'll congeal together, and everything will heal up. That's how it works, right?
No.
okay. I think what we've got to do is see that little stump, Skathis. I think you're on the money.
No, not that one, Skathis, the one on the end of your hand.
Did that
Yeah,
work for your little
think
stump, Karnos? No, it did not.
No, right. I'm going to walk up to Skathis with the hand. All right, so to get the blood moving again, I'm going to have to cut into that stump there, get the blood to start moving, then sew the hand back on. Then I'll heal it, and then hopefully this should work. Yeah, Carlos, right? Like that's...
Yeah. And if it doesn't,
Yeah.
worst case scenario is he's got one hand. He's a monk. He can kick with his feet. He can headbutt with his head. He's got a tail that he can jab and stab with. I don't know why he thinks it's two hands. I've lived without a limb for a long time. I'm sure he can live without one of the four that he can use.
Also, I feel like this is the hand that Skathis tried to hit me. So maybe it's, a bit of... Maybe it's the DM also looking out for me. It's,
How close are you to me, Hello?
I'm pretty close. I've got your
Yeah,
hand.
everyone's pretty
I'm,
close.
like, waving your hand in your-
He's definitely stepped forward and picked up your hand and is
Well,
kind of
with
right in front
that
of you.
comment that he said, I'll just reach out and just grab you straight. Just not squeeze, just grab.
So you're gonna make another aggressive movement towards Adok.
Yep.
Okay. Adok, you will have a chance to make a dexterity save to
I mean, I
avoid.
do have nimble escape as well.
Okay, so what it this is a reaction. Does nimble escape a reaction?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
no, it's
so just a
yeah,
dex save,
yeah,
just to avoid.
sure.
Um,
Well, if it's a reaction, I could do shield as well, but I'm not gonna.
yeah, he's not hitting you. He's just reaching out to grab you. So it'll be a dexterity. Make it dexterity versus dexterity.
No.
Skaith is at disadvantage because you're in pain.
And correct me if I'm wrong, is Skathis on his knees on the
He's
ground?
on his knees, so he would be at the right height to grab Adok.
So as Adok's sort of doing his sort of movement out of the way, I'll be like, Skathis, he's got the high ground, you can't win this.
Carlos, just...
So what are
got
your
one.
rolls, gentlemen?
I got a nat one.
got a nat
Apparently
one.
He can win this.
Okay.
6.
So both low rolls, but a nat one definitely loses in this particular instance.
So yeah, with that, I'll grab. Just to iterate that, I may be down one hand.
He's
but,
still quick. Like, not as quick as he was. You were definitely a lot slower than his quickness, but he can still grab you. Like, there's no
And-
intent with it, but I'll still give you a
I'll
reaction, Zadriel and Karnos. So, do you say anything in that moment, Skathis? Or you just reach out and grab him?
I can still fight. And I'll release if the others aren't going to do anything.
They'll still get a reaction because it's all happened sort of all simultaneously.
Yeah.
So, Zadriel, how do you react to another semi-aggressive movement from Skathis in this moment?
I'm going to grab the handle of my hammer. I just have it held, ready to. But I'm just holding it.
Okay, so
That's me.
you sort of raise it, ready to see if anything
Getting
further
it
was going to
ready.
happen. Okay.
Yep.
Karnos, your reaction. You still have the sun sword raised. I would say probably above your shoulder at the very least in this moment, unless you've relaxed it in that
I
time.
relaxed it and grabbed the axe off the ground, so I feel like it's down at my side.
Okay.
I just seen him grab Adok. I'd just be same as Cedric. I put my hand back on the hilt, trying to be a little more reserved because I reacted pretty quick last time. And I said, Skathis, this is not the way. Okay, like I said, he's got the high ground. Just back it down, mate. We're here for you. No aggressive movement towards us. Hang on a minute. Adok, can you tell? Is he being controlled by Strahd?
We can make you a new hand. Says Fibble
No,
from the other side.
He's not being controlled by Strahd. He's just a dick.
I think at this point we're all a bunch of dicks, really, because we're not teaming together.
Not me. You're all brain damaged.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not being a dick. I literally just said, I'm going to fix your hand. You know what, Skathis? Just because of that, I'm going to hold his hand and I'm going to cast Fireball on it. Incinerate it.
Fireball or firebolt?
Fuck, I said Fireball.
You said fireball. I should. Fuck it. You said it, so unfortunately that's the spell you cast. The spell slot will be used.
Maybe it's still a new spell.
Everybody will need to make a dex save.
Oh shit!
So, what is your spell DC? What is that noise?
Trashy, mute for a sec.
Wow. That was
it's
feedback
trashy.
from you, Trash. Holy Jesus, earballs. Unplug your microphone and replug it back in, I think.
Yeah, that was weird. Just
We're getting some major feedback from your mic.
Dick save, right.
Or just make sure your speakers aren't on. Whew.
Thank God it's only at a 3rd level, not a 4th.
think
So
you're all
what is your
around the
what is
three
your species? Yeah, you get a +5 because you're all within range of Zadriel. So what is your spell save DC?
16. Do
16.
I fail it because I'm straight in the... I don't know how I can survive, and I think I fail. Like, I have to. There's no...
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'd say you're going to be auto-failing on
Yeah.
this because you just sort of you're literally casting it right on where your hand is.
Yeah.
So I think yours is going to be an auto-fail. Karnos, yeah, it's better. Cheers, dude. Right, Magic? So Karnos is good with the 19. Add the +5, it's a 24. Zadriel with a 9. So Zadriel will take full damage.
Me still at disadvantage, I take
Yeah,
it.
you're kneeling and you're right there, so I'd say yours would be at disadvantage. All those natural 1. So Adok, I'm going to say you're going to take a little bit extra damage because you're right. You're ground 0, dude. Like, so Adok, you're going to take 45 points of fire damage. Those that failed will take 33. Those that succeeded will take half of that, which will be 16 points of fire damage. As actually, I better roll for Fibble as well. Just give me a second. I've got a sheet here. My God, dude. Fucking hell. Oh shit. So Fibble's good with a dirty 20.
So as that fire erupts out from where we are, and we're like a few feet from it.
It engulfs the entire campsite, which would also ignite your tents. And anything that's flammable in the area would also be ignited. So you're gonna take. You guys will get to roll around. Obviously, put yourselves out.
Yeah, stop, drop, and roll.
Pretty much. You have to put the
Be like,
tents out.
Adok. I mean, yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut his hand off. It was an accident. I reacted. I apologize.
What were you saying about not being a dick, Adok?
What the fuck?
Oh, I don't know. I was just trying to. I'm gonna try and focus. It's a hand at least burnt and disintegrated because you know what? Fuck you, Scapers.
The hand is definitely charred. Like it was again ground zero. So it'll be pretty well cooked.
Is Skathis resistant to fire, being a red tiefling?
I don't think so. I don't think he has a resistance to
Doesn't
fire.
work that way. Okay.
He does have resistances. No.
I actually, yes.
Yes, you do. So you take half damage.
Okay, I thought that might be a case.
No, you are right. It's you've got you're immune to poison and resistant to fire. So you would have taken 16, not 33.
So his hand might not go up as easy as it seems.
Oh, his hand definitely incinerated. It's
Okay.
not. It's no longer attached to his body, so it definitely would have been charred. But yeah, Fibble's again patting himself out, and Timothy's unaffected by it at all. In fact, Fibble would have taken half with the save, and with the Shield Guardian taking half of that as well. Timothy stands up at this point and picks you up ad hoc, scruff of the neck, and holds you up like 5 feet off the ground. And just looking at you. He's not shaking, he's just holding you up off the ground. So you're sort of dangling like that at the moment.
Listen, Mr. Tin Man, you better put me down or you're going to be in a world of fucking pain. I am severely annoyed at that bloody devil.
So you don't hear it because this is a command that has been given to Timothy. Timothy wraps one hand around your tiny body, which he's able to do because he's a large, pinning your arms to your body. You can make a strength check to try and get out of it, but the DC is reasonably high, which stops you from squirming. The other hand clamps over your mouth so you can't speak anymore. Fibble, knowing that you need to be able to speak in order to cast a spell, or most spells, and move.
I'm just kicking my legs. Like his arm.
How long would you say it would take Adok to calm down?
Oh, a good couple of minutes.
Okay, so once you calm to a point where Fibble believes that you're okay, he'll eventually put you down. But at the moment, you're restrained and silenced, more or less.
Oh, everyone, let's just take a step back. This is what Strahd wants. We're all attacking each other. Maybe we're playing into his hand again. We need to stop and think.
Do any of you need more healing? I've got 2 potions in my bag.
What? It's nighttime, yeah?
It is. The sun is set. Probably just past dark now.
How about we just rest and think about our actions?
As soon as I get put down, I'm going to find Skathis' charred hand. I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to look at Skathis. I'm going to hold his hand backwards and I'm going to pull down one finger at a time until it just does this.
Okay.
Adok, what are you doing?
Real mature Adok.
Are you not kidding me? I walked over there, the goodness of my own eye.
You set us all on fire.
All right, well, that was a mistake. Accidents happen. Yeah, you're a scientist. I didn't mean to do it. I was playing around with new fire. It happens, right? Don't get your panties in a twist.
Yeah. I mean, Cow League, you guys.
Look,
Yeah.
cow deserved it, okay?
And also, Zadriel,
I fixed the cow. What's the problem?
Explode with your hammer. You didn't mean to do it, did you?
No.
Yeah, Yeah, wait, you did?
This is more about Skathus right now than anything, I think. He's just, we need to, do you need to be sedated or tied, or are you good, Skathus?
I'm good.
I guess, like I was saying before, Scafus, don't look at it as a disability. Look at it as a chance to use some of your other features for fighting, right? You have feet. You can kick. Monks kick. Monks are like those samurai type ninjas, right? You can do flips and things, and you can do like helicopter kick, and you know. I know you've mostly just used your hands and spear, but I mean forearm's a thing still. You even with a stump, you can use your forearm. So until we figure out how to get it back on. And anyway, hang on. Why am I even? You attacked her.
Is she hurt? Well, let me phrase that. She's hurt now, but did I hurt her? No.
Well, I stopped you before you could do any damage to her.
No, you didn't.
Well, your hand on the ground would say otherwise.
And I'll leave that alone. And I'm going to find a spot to rest up and start meditating.
No worries. What is everyone else doing?
Is it just me, or has Skathus got an inflated ego since we revived him? Because he is very confident in his abilities. Which I'd say is
Yeah.
usually a good thing, but...
He was seeming real good to begin with, and it was only after the children in the wagon. I guess we're sort of away from Skathus saying this, right?
He's moved away from the camp
Yeah.
to meditate, yeah. So, I mean, if Skathus wants to listen in, that's up to him. If he doesn't,
No.
then he doesn't hear any of it.
I get that he was upset, but there's no need to take it out on you. If I remember rightly, you were saying that you saved his life. Let's not be silly. And he kind of ran at you and grabbed my axe, and maybe I overreacted. Adok, did I overreact?
Fibble?
Well,
wait,
mate,
unhooking Adok from the
Mate.
chimney.
yeah, by now, yeah, the Timothy's lowers you down. He'd let you go, sort of halfway let you go so you could speak at least. Bibble sort of says, well, maybe not. He did move pretty quickly and like grabbed an axe, but I mean, cutting his hand off was a little extreme. But
Oh, I mean, it was.
I would have shot him. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I was only trying to cut. Yeah. No. Either way, it was going to go badly. Sorry, Zadriel.
I mean, Phoebe would have shot Adok too, so yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have shot Karnos at some point too. I mean, and I
Well,
did
that's
shoot
a given.
Emilia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well.
So we're all
So-
treated equally.
Yeah. I mean, in all reality, you two artificers, a bit of metal, some nails. We can get that hand good as new, right?
We can get to a blacksmith. I mean, definitely.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we need, a forge. I mean, I, for one, not that great at metalworking, but a bit of timber and some runic carvings. Maybe I can make a animated hand or something.
Maybe you could put a point on the end, and he could literally spear people.
Well, you know what else I could do? I could also put something else on the end of it so he can turn it around and fuck himself when he's being a dick.
Also, the pointy thing. Huh?
Yeah, right. I feel like that's a good idea.
I mean, Valaki has a forge. I mean, we can go there. And, I mean, Krezk might have a forge too.
Yeah. I mean, Valaki's on the way, but it's like a detour, right? Looking at the map here.
Indeed it is. You would have to detour to the east. to head to
I think
Vallaki.
looking at the map, we're better off just going to the end of this road, taking the right, and going straight up to Krezk. If we go to Vallaki, it's nearly the same distance to Krezk, I believe. And I'm holding my fingers on the map, sort of doing finger distances.
Estimated, yeah. You got to get to the Raven River crossroads and then go north to get to Krezk. From that crossroad, you'd have to continue west, or sort of southeast, and then east to get to Vallaki. So it's roughly the same distance, but it would definitely add maybe a day and a half on your journey to Krezk if you were to detour.
Krezk might have a church with the healer or something too. We don't know what they have.
I'm pretty sure it's a little town, looking at the map, and little towns always have, if there's one thing they always have, well, when I say one thing, numerous things, but generally a general store, a blacksmith's, somewhere to raise horses. I'm pretty sure that's the main thing, Sora. And usually somewhere to sleep.
A pub and a church, maybe. Yeah.
And a church. Oh, imagine a church.
Yeah, roll a history check. Carnos at advantage, because you guys have been told what is in Krezk, specifically, or what is near Krezk, should I say.
Even at advantage, it's just 8.
Yeah, Carnos, you're pretty much on the money with your description for you, specifically. Anyone else want to roll a history? You can, except for Skathis, who's not privy to this conversation.
I won't. My Foundry is being hinky, so I'll skip for now.
Okay, no worries.
I got 25.
So yeah, Fibble, Fibble probably remembers as well. Fibble's memory's pretty good. I'll roll for him. But Adok, you definitely remember talking to Esmeralda, the vampire hunter. She talked about visiting the abbot at the abbey, which is directly north of Krezk. Yep. In fact, it looks over Krezk from on top of the hill. And yeah, Fibble with a 21 as well. So
still with Skatis' hand in my hand, I'm just going to wave it around and start using it as like my pointer or anything like that.
It smells pretty good. I mean, it's kind of roasted.
I'm going to peel a bit off and then put it in my mouth and start chewing on it.
Tastes alright. A little tough.
Yeah.
You've eaten worse.
And then I'm going to say, so, I do remember having a bit of a conversation. There is the abbot, which is like a priest sort of person, I guess. Not really sure. Zadriel, you'd probably know what an abbot is. I guess that can heal. Maybe, possibly. Skates his hand. Oh yeah, by the way, this tastes really good. Do you want some?
Adok! We don't eat our friends.
Yeah, well,
Without...
I mean, waste not one lot.
No. You want him to try to kill you again?
Look, I feel like at this point, if he does something like that, either Carnos is going to chop more than his hand off, or I am going to do... I don't know what's happening with my fire lately, but I'm going to do something, and it's going to be bad.
Look, I know you're pissed off right now, but if it was reversed, you wouldn't want Skathis eating your fingers off.
If I didn't have it attached to me, absolutely, because I wouldn't want him to starve. And I'm very hungry.
I don't think he shares your viewpoint.
I go up to Adok and say, "Can I please have a hand?"
Will I get it back?
I mean, the chances are slim.
See, I was also thinking about...
Give me the hand or I'll cut yours off.
You won't do that. That's uncalled for. You're a hero.
I slowly look at Adok and grab the hilt of my hammer.
Right, now, see, that's a threat.
I want to do the right thing, okay? Thank you, Adok. And I wouldn't have cut your hand off unless you threatened one of us, just like Skathis did. And I walk over to Skathis with the hand.
Step away from the others and walk over to where Skathis is sitting, cross-legged. His hand and his remainder of his other hand sitting in his lap in his meditative state.
I say, Skathis, I know you're probably pretty sure at us right now. and what's happened is a shitty thing. I appreciate maybe I overreacted. I did think you were going for Zadriel with my axe. And as a hero, I found it my responsibility to stop you, and I actually kind of maybe thought there was some sort of Strahd involvement, but I do apologise. I stopped Adok from eating your hand. We didn't think it was a good idea. Here's your hand, and I just sit it on the ground next to him, seeing him meditate. And I put 5 platinum pieces into the hand, and I say, now, that's 5 finger discount, all right? There you go. So you can use that platinum to do whatever you wish to get that hand healed or sorted or back together. If you need more, I have more money, but let's just start that for now, and we'll see how we go. And I turn to walk away. So take 5 platinum Skatus, it's in your hand.
You muted trash. There you go.
I'm sorry, that's
That
that's enjoyable, that one.
That tickled me as well. So, does Skatus react or not?
No. Just
Okay.
sit there, meditate.
But mark down the 5 platinum because it is in your hand and you will find it. I mean, you probably realise exactly. You heard what he said. So what you do with it afterwards is up to you.
I move back to the group.
So, anything else you wish to discuss before sleep is had? There will be obviously a need for a watch rotation this evening. We are at a camp. Shield Guardian is there, and Fibble probably will, I'd say, probably cast alarm on the Shield Guardian, I would imagine. It's up to you whether you want to discuss a watch rotation as well, or rely on the Shield Guardian and the spell.
You all want to get some sleep? Do the same thing we did last time? Or should we take physical watches together?
We're a bit out in the open, a bit exposed this time, Zadriel. I feel like the Shield Guardian will do a good job, but it'd be good to have some real eyes on the game. I'm happy to help out.
Okay.
Yeah, alright. I feel like I should probably give a bit of a hand as well. No pun intended, Scafus. Because, you know, I can give a hand. Or you can give a hand, technically. But he can't hear a word I'm saying, can he?
He probably can, he's just ignoring you, I would imagine. So who's taking first watch, if there is any?
How would you guys feel if I take first watch?
Oh, I mean, I was going to offer, but, you know.
Well, it's alright, you can take first, I can only take second or third, it's quite alright.
Yeah, I'll take first. You'll, you know, trust each other, yeah?
Not really, but
I
Yeah, I
sleep
know,
with one
it's-
eye open.
don't
Yeah.
really have a choice, do we?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to be reading. I've got pretty good eyes, see in the dark. First watch, on me.
It's,
Adok first watch. Who's taking? We're going to need 3 watches at least. So
Feeble can take one, and you can take another one, Garnos. That's good. Thank you. And she's
Yeah,
gonna
I'll
go
do that.
over.
but what? Fuck.
You got this. And sit next to Skathus, kind of to half guard, half keep an eye.
Okay.
Sleeping.
So you're going to sleep at some point, Zadriel? Or you're going to?
I am sleeping,
So
but
you're gonna stay
I'm
up?
kind of draping a
ish?
leg over his legs just in case
Okay.
something happens to him. I get jostled,
Yep.
maybe.
Okay. Skathus, do you allow that to happen? Is the question.
Yes.
Doesn't seem to fight as you sort of. Probably not a whole leg. Probably you rest sort of calf and ankle and foot over his, because he's sitting cross-legged, so probably just over his knees and stuff. Doesn't seem to move or even acknowledge that you've done it, but doesn't fight it either. So that's done. Karnos, you're gonna. I mean, the tents are pretty well cooked. So there probably isn't much actual shelter left unless you were going to sort of reposition what's the remainder of a tent over maybe a tree branch or something like that, because the fireball pretty much destroyed them, more or less.
I might use a bit of the nature around us and try and cobble together something that the rest of us can actually sleep under in case it does rain heavier.
Roll a survival check for me.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah, easily enough. Carnos
So I get
is
some,
camped.
some leaves and stuff over the top and some bit of those sheets and a bit of rope and sort of wing it up a bit.
Takes you about half an hour or so to whip up a pretty good bivvy. Sort of tree branch and other branches laying over top with just bits and pieces lying around, and you sort of hang it over the top. Which gives you Bibble, Skathis and Zadriel, if they wish to a bit of shelter if necessary. Adok, you remain by the fire reading your book, I believe.
Yeah,
to begin
I
with?
do have one thing that I would like to do.
Yeah.
So
Is this before people sleep or as people drift off?
as people are drifting off, I got one thing.
Go for it.
I would like to walk up to Karnos, and as he's drifting off, and really relaxed and calm, done all that hard work, just gonna bend down, get my mouth really close to your ear, and I'm just gonna say, Skathis is unbalanced. He's missing a hand. Just thought I'd let you know. I don't know if that's gonna give you a bit of a mental. Anyway, sleep well. Okay. Get up and walk away.
If you don't inhabit Dan's inspiration, that's brilliant. I think that's hilarious.
Then I'm gonna go and walk. Oh, there is also as well, depending on how badly the tents are burnt.
They're pretty well trashed. Not really
So
usable.
mending wouldn't fix it.
No, you'd have to spend a lot of mending to fix the damage. I mean, you got dry cloth versus fireball. Not really a whole lot left.
I might just repair if I can, possibly. Maybe just my tent.
I'd say you can give it a go. You probably give up after the second or third try, realizing that this is no hope. You're going to be here all night.
Sweet.
And it's going to get pretty exhausting to continually cast this until you fully repair it.
Okay, great. Then
Carlos tried to make it enough of that shelter to sort of get everyone amongst it if he could.
There's definitely enough room for everyone under the shelter that Carlos made. I mean, you'll still be sleeping in close proximity to each other, but it's definitely big enough for everyone to gain cover if it was to rain or anything like that. I mean, it is misty. It is like it's damp and cold, just like it always has been from the time you first set foot into Barovia. It's not raining at this point, but it is definitely that sort of dark, misty, dewy kind of night.
All right. I just read the rest of my book. Sit down.
So you'll get another 4 hours, ish, 3 or 4 hours on your book. Call it 3. During that time, I'll need you to make a perception check for me. If you're concentrating on your book, it'll be at disadvantage.
A lovely 9.
A lovely 9. As far as you're aware, there's nothing stalking you. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. The sounds of the jungle, the sounds of the forest and the hills and that is kind of lost on you. So you are engrossed in this book, trying to finish. You need to read it to really concentrate and understand what's being said. It's interesting. There's some really, really interesting passages that really pique your interest specifically. And you can feel yourself sort of gaining that knowledge very slowly. It's definitely helping whatever this book is. But as far as you're aware, nothing happens during your 3 or 4 hour watch. So who are you waking next? I believe you were waking Karnos for second, or Fibble. Which one? Your choice.
Because Cam didn't listen to the order.
It doesn't really matter.
Listen to the order.
It wasn't really an order. It was sort of those were the 3 that were chosen. So
Okay, great.
Order's up to you.
I'm gonna go over to Zadriel.
Hey, it's your choice.
Yeah, that was gonna be my first choice anyway.
I mean, the order doesn't really matter. If you wanted to wake Zadriel, you can wake Zadriel. I mean, consequences be damned.
And then I'm gonna stand at a fair distance away, but I'm just gonna do my finger gun, go bang, and cast a message into Zadriel. And you just gotta hear into your mind, be like, "I am Strahd. I have come to suck your blood."
Is it in Adok's voice? Obviously.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is. It's
like,
adult-
you're
a
not
bad
even
attempt at
you're not even
Strahd.
attempting, like you're attempting to imitate Strahd.
Yeah, that was Adok's attempt.
Okay, roll a deception check, and I'd say at disadvantage because I don't think Adok would be big enough or have enough skill as a bard to be able to fully.
that one.
Yeah, no, it's in fully Adok. He's just trying to do the whole "I am Batman" thing, and really badly.
Once I sort of am awake, but my eyes are still closed, can I Misty step behind Adok?
Ooh. Okay, this might be the one for other DMs. Can you Misty Step when you can't see, when you're not looking where you're going?
I'll look it up real quick.
It does. I
might
don't think
have
it.
to
I
open
don't
one
think
eye.
it really
I might have-
states in the spell. I think
It is it's
think-
only verbal.
so. It's a verbal command, but I'm not. Yeah, if you're not sure
If you
where
read
you're
the
going,
blurb, I think it says.
Well, you can see. So I
Yeah,
will
you'd
like
have to-
open
you'd
my
have to-
eye
you'd have to crack
and
an eye,
see
yeah.
where he's at.
which
I have to see where he's at
yeah,
anyway.
he's not that far from you. So he's by the campfire. You're probably maybe 10 feet from it. So you'd sort of, and I don't think he'd be able to see that you crack an eye open either, with shadows of the fire, the flame, and everything, and the way you're lying. So
And then
yeah,
I'll
I'd allow it.
Misty
Yeah.
Step. Yeah, but I'll probably be in the same position if I Misty Step. So then I'm gonna slowly try and get up and put a arm around his little neck.
Okay, so that's going to require a stealth check from you, which you
Alright.
don't get at disadvantage because you're elven boots. So it's
Which
just
is
a
a
straight
0.
roll. It's just a straight roll.
And my I wonder if I can roll. Can I roll in? I don't have my little character up, so it's just a 0 to my stealth. So nope. That's
Is your stats a 0?
6.
You sure?
Yeah. Plus 0 on
That
my
is-
stealth,
yeah,
it
it's-
says. But my clicking thing on D&D Beyond is not working.
Okay, that's weird.
Except for checks and saves.
That's really
Is it
strange.
Saves? The saves aren't working either.
Just refresh the page and see if that works. But yeah, so this is definitely a 0. So what do you roll?
I rolled a 6, so no.
Yeah, no. As you misty step, you would end up in the same position you're in, sort of half lying, half sitting. You do end up being behind Adok, but Adok, as Zadriel, you go to sit up slowly. The armor on your elbow, as you go to sit up, scrapes across the ground, just giving that sort of ting against a rock behind you, Adok, and you hear it.
I'm gonna
You just
turn
hear
rapidly,
movement,
spin
yeah.
around, and jump, and then flute at the ready, glowing red hot.
And you see Zadriel sort of half sitting behind you.
Oh,
You probably would have seen her sort of vanish anyway, I would imagine. So
Rise up slowly, like I thought it was Feeble's watch.
yeah, right. So there was Fibbles, but I mean, yeah, but okay. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't listen. I didn't really pay attention to what you were saying. So I just thought, I just guessed it was you. Second, because you're a. Please, whatever you do, don't hit me in the head with that hammer. I apologise. I can even cast a spell to let you go to sleep if you want. How about that? And then I'll go wake up Fibble.
Just go hold
Yeah?
your bed. No, it's fine. I'll watch.
All right. Nice boots, by the way.
Yeah. I see what you did there. Good.
Yeah, trying to make it up. All right. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, as I'm like walking off. Sorry. Sorry.
So, Zedriel, who is now awake, Adok takes his place in the makeshift shelter that Kalnos has made and starts to settle in. So Zedriel, you are now sitting by yourself by the fire. Skathis appears to have drifted off, although sitting sort of leaning up maybe against a rock or a tree stump or something. But he has drifted off and seems to be sleeping peacefully. Twitches and moves every now and again. Maybe he's dreaming, you're not entirely sure. But I will need you to make a perception roll while you're on your watch. Is there anything that you want to do during this time?
I will probably take all the canteens and change them to water. And perception is +1. So and I will probably check on everyone's wounds, but just checking, just looking it over, making sure everybody's okay.
Yeah, everyone seems alright. I mean, no resting, so they're obviously going to regain their health, the damage that they took from the fireball.
And it is 16 plus 1, so 17.
Okay, 17. That's not bad. So you hear all the sounds of the night. You hear the sounds of the owls in the distance, the occasional raven still, the occasional howl of a wolf in the distance. Again, nothing overly threatening. At first, then something catches your ear. A little bit sort of later in the piece, and it's more than one. You hear a wolf howl off, seems like it might be coming from the east, and then you hear another from the west. From the north, another couple. From the south. And this time they definitely seem closer. Whether you determine it as a threat at this point, up to you. They don't sound really close, but they're definitely closer than the previous howls that you'd heard. You do think at one point you hear the snapping of twigs reasonably close by the camp. You listen for a while longer and you don't hear that again. Then again the howls come. About the same distance as previously. This time a few more, however. So it sounds like there's more in the distance. Each direction you hear it in, it just seems like there's maybe... kind of hard to tell because they all sort of chorus together at one point. But there's definitely more than what you heard the first two times. Although, again, they don't seem to be getting any closer. But there's definitely they're around. And there's a lot of them.
Like surrounding or a specific direction?
Roll
like
another perception for me. Yeah, roll another perception at advantage this time because you're really concentrating.
Because that's bad. Okay. 17 plus 1 is 18.
18. So, yeah. Because you've been listening to them intently for probably an hour, you focus and you really strain. And you hear the howls again. And... yeah, they're definitely all around, like northeast. Again, not super close, but I'd say close enough to be a concern now by this point.
I will let it, is this nearing the end of my watch? And I
Probably
will...
about 2/3 through, so you've maybe got roughly another hour or so before your watch comes to an end.
I will try and let it get a little closer before I start to wake up Kanos and see if I need to wake up the others. So I keep it till the very last minute so they can get as much sleep as they can.
So as you listen intently, waiting for the next lot of howls to come, 15-20 minutes, nothing. Another 5-10 minutes, not sure. Don't hear anything. Then you hear the first of the growls, which is very close. Maybe you can maybe determine maybe 30 or 40 feet to the north. Low,
Right.
really low growl. Again, it's not a super aggressive growl, but it's enough to alert you that they are close enough to potentially, or something is close enough to be a potential danger.
I'll wake up Carnos as I get a stick from the fire, and I'll start trying to relight the tents in a circle, like any
Okay.
little thing.
Cool.
As I'm waking Carnos,
Oh, yeah.
growling wolves. I try to let
shit.
you sleep as long as I can, but
All right, I'll get my armor on. I start putting my armor on straight away.
ad hoc. This is Strahd. I am coming for you now. Get up.
So do you try and
Adult.
intimidate, do you try and imitate
just
Strahd, or
dicking.
just doing it in your own
No,
voice?
I'm totally dicking with him.
I, shitting myself, am also going to Misty Step.
You'd have to open your eyes first, or at least one eye to see where you're going. Or you're going to do it blindly.
Yeah,
Okay, roll a d6 for me.
Oh shit.
because it's that thing. Yeah.
Okay, roll a d6. Because you're doing it blindly, you could end up 30 feet in any direction.
I got
While
6.
While he's doing that, I'm preparing to wake up Skathis as well, so that
Okay,
it's all
cool.
simultaneous.
Yep, all happening at once. You can wake everyone else up, that's not a problem. Zadriel's starting to reset the remains of the tents on fire to give yourselves light and maybe a bit of protection. The wolves are intensifying. You can hear them continually out circling and howling. The occasional growl comes through, which, as ad hoc, you missed a step. What did you get?
I got a 6.
6. So you will misty step to the southwest, 30 feet, which is outside of the camp. So Zadriel, as you speak these words, you watch as poor ad hoc disappears, and you have no idea where he ended up.
I
Ad
would
hoc,
just assume he went invisible.
ad hoc, you now, if you open your eyes, you can see the flames of the tents 30 feet in front of you, but you are now in darkness in the trees by yourself, and you can hear all of this going on around you.
Okay, fantastic. Invisibility.
Do you head back to the camp in that moment as well, or do you stay where you are?
I'm gonna stay stationary because the last thing I heard was Strahd.
Okay, you'll need to roll a stealth check for me, please.
With advantage because I'm invisible, or disadvantage?
Straight roll. Because you may not be able to be seen, but potentially you may be being heard or sensed by smell. As
got
there are wolves.
19.
19. So as far as you're aware, you're good. I will stop the wolves because that's going to get annoying really quick. So as you do so, you start waking each other up. Karnos, you're awake. You watch Zadriel start to light the tents and anything else to gain extra light, and obviously maybe some extra help against these wolves that seem to be circling the camp.
Cool.
Fibblesib wakes, sort of, what's going on?
Get your armor on, Zadriel's smelled some wolves and we can hear them.
And he gets up, but starts putting his armor on. Timothy turns towards the forest area, sort of, in a almost ready stance. Skathis, who's waking Skathis?
Oh, I sort of toe kick Skathis and Fibble at the
Yeah,
same time
okay.
while the whole Misty Step thing was happening.
So Skathis, your eyes sort of flicker open, and you can pretty much determine what's going on. You hear the wolves. You sort of look around in a sort of that blurry, just woken state, and see Zadriel and Karnos and Fibble all putting armor on, and Zadriel's lit tents on fire, forming kind of a perimeter at this point. You don't see ad hoc, however. Actually, none of you now see ad hoc at all. So what else are you going? What are you going to do in this moment, everybody?
Toss Gathers a potion of healing, and I toss Connors a potion of healing from my bag.
Just the regular potions?
Yeah, it's just a regular. I only had 2.
Okay, cool. So
I'll
mark
put it
those
on my
down.
belt. Thank you very much, Zadriel.
Likewise, put it somewhere around me.
Fibble casts flaming sphere in a gap where there was no tent on fire to fill a hole, and to obviously provide more light and a little bit more defense.
Just so you're aware, DM, I have 2 potions of healing on my belt now.
No worries. No trash. You were not. You were good. You would have been within that range easily enough.
I will I have 10 left on my lay on hands. I'm going to lay on hands myself.
Okay. Yes, you would not have completed a long rest, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
No, so I'll just do the 10.
So do your heal.
And I yell out, Adok, I hope you are ready. Because I think he's invisible, but I'm yelling.
Okay, no worries. You hear that quite easily, Adok, even though you are that distance away. Adok, you'd be the first to see them.
Sorry, DM,
Yes.
just while as she's laying on hands herself, how does Zadriel look to me? Zadriel, how do you think you look?
On a
Health.
scale of 1 to 80, I'm 47.
Okay, so as you're laying on hands yourself, I'm looking at your bruises and things, and I just put a hand on your shoulder and say, everything will be alright, and I give you 15 of my lay on hands.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Carlos.
That's a good way of putting it. Scale of 1 to 80. So, okay, cool. So with that, as I say, Adok, in your invisible state, you see the first set of glowing eyeballs, the flickering flames from the tents and the flaming sphere in the distance catches the eyes of the first set of creatures that are moving slowly towards the camp. You can't hear them making the steps. They seem to be very, very quiet. The howling has since slowed and stopped. So now the rest of you can't see or hear anything. Maybe you get the occasional flicker of eye shine potentially in the forest. Kind of hard to tell. But where Adok is, you're getting a clear vision. This particular beast, Adok, stands taller than you at the shoulder. This is not a regular wolf. Definitely looks wolf-like.
6 foot dark, by the way.
Yeah, you still be just out of your vision, probably obscured by a few trees. I mean, you will probably get to see some of these soon. But Adok, yeah, you can see it quite clearly. You can see the shape and size of its head. It is huge. Maybe 5.5, 6 feet at the shoulder. It is massive. And there's maybe 2 or 3 of them that you can now see in this first group. And you can hear now behind you branches crack and move, and you sort of spin and turn, and catching in between trees again, the flickering from the firelight, you see some eye shine. Skathis, you will now see that same thing. Off in the distance, you catch the several pairs of eyes, glowing eyes, and they are standing, from your estimation, in that 5.5, 6 feet off the ground sort of thing. Which you can't see what they are at this point, but you can see the eye shine. And as the rest of you sort of look around and start looking around the camp, preparing yourselves, you'll all start to see multiple pairs of eyes just appear in the darkness, flickering against the firelight.
Well,
So
I'm
what are you
going
doing?
to...
Adok, what are you going to do, firstly?
I am going to not move a single muscle in my body and probably pee myself a little bit.
A little bit of pee comes out. Definitely. As you watch this animal sort of raise his nose to the ear and sniff, you can hear it like you can hear him sniff, and it's quite abrasive. It's like it's loud. I just need to roll a quick check here. 17. It sniffs the air and then turns very slowly in your direction, as if it can sense something. Sort of looks intently for a moment, sniffs a couple more times, and then starts to slowly move in your direction. Just not aggressively, just very slowly, 1 foot after. It's still trying to remain stealthy, it would seem. All these creatures seem to be moving very, very slowly.
Can we all see them now?
You can see the eye shine. They haven't got close enough for you to see what they are at this point, but you can see many, many pairs of eyes staring at you from all directions.
And are they on their hind legs or are they on all fours?
You can't tell at this point.
Can't tell.
Especially you, Karnos, because you don't have dark vision. You probably can't see past the light of the fire. Skathis, you could make a perception. Anyone with dark vision can make a perception check to see if they can determine what these creatures are from within the camp.
Could I cast a light cantrip on my shield and...
I would. What's the bright distance and dim distance? Because I don't know if it would do much more than what the fire's already doing.
Yeah. 20-foot radius, so nah, never mind.
Yeah, it'd be about the same as...
the same as the fire.
Be about the same as the fire you've got. I'd say even the bright and dim from the firelight at this point will be probably a little bit further than what your light cantrip would give anyway. Welcome on in, Mr. Fibblestep. So, Fibble, just to give you a quick catch-up, you guys have been woken by Zadriel and Karnos. Your camp is now surrounded by many, many pairs of glowing eyeballs. At this point, you're not entirely sure what it is. Fibble, you have dark vision, yes?
But we heard heaps of howling.
Yeah, you can assume that they're wolf or wolf type. You have dark vision, so I'll get you to make a perception roll, please. So, Adok, I mean, you don't need to make perception because you can see quite clearly what this creature is. You're within a few feet of this large beast. Zadriel and Fibble, you can just make out what you think is something wolf-like, definitely a lot larger. Zadriel, you can see a little bit more clearly. Maybe you're a little taller than Fibble, so you can see over some of the bushes and brush between the trees. And yeah, the one that you can see, or the 2 or 3 that you can see sort of stepping in and moving forward slowly, are very large, 5.5, 6 feet at the shoulder, on all fours it seems. Very large wolf-like creatures. They have not attacked the camp. They have remained quiet, but they seem they are still closing in, but very, very slowly. So it's up to you guys what you do in this moment.
I think someone should get the horse and cart ready, just in case. Although they don't seem threatening. I mean, they're threatening either way, but keeping their distance.
You're right, but I don't know if the horse and cart could outrun these things. Oh, hang on. Excuse me, wolf-like creatures, or glowing eyes that we can see. Strahd, your boss, has invited us to his castle, in which we are headed there soon. We are going to make a stop on the way walking to said castle, and he has promised us we would not be hurt. And I know that's slightly not quite the truth, but it's pretty close to the truth. He said hurt in the castle.
Make a deception check for me.
Decepticon.
Deception roll.
Just about a natural 20 in roll. 13.
13. Interesting. Interesting. So, you get no response. 5 minutes or so, but they haven't advanced. Adok, the one that you think may potentially have sniffed you out, is now literally 2 inches from your face. Like literally like this far away from your face.
Yeah.
You're gonna
I'm
hold your breath?
Stop breathing. Yeah.
And it sort of raises its nose and sniffs at the air again, and sort of lets out a low sort of, and lets out a hot breath, and the hot breath right on your face. You can smell what smells like old meat and viscera on its breath, drool dripping from its jaws. And then, almost inexplicably, it sits back on its haunches. And then you watch as its body starts to twist and misshape almost. Starts to writhe and make cracking sound as the bones sort of twist and break and move, and it starts to shrink in size. And right before your eyes, this creature, whatever it is, transforms. And within a matter of a few minutes, you see a man kneeling on one knee, mostly naked, has maybe a loincloth or something covering his unmentionables, but he's still very tall, 6'2", 6'3" as he stands. Arches his back, and you hear the spine crack as he arches his back and sort of flexes his shoulders. He is maybe in his 40s, hard to tell. Beard, scruffy brown hair. You can tell he's sweating, like he's obviously. I mean, Adok's never really seen a werewolf before, has he? So you wouldn't really understand. You'd understand that you've seen a shapeshifter, you've seen Emilia change shapes. You could maybe assume that he might be a druid. But as he stands, he looks directly at you, locks eyes with you, even though you believe that you cannot be seen. And he simply says, "Sorry for intimidation, but we had to be sure that you were not going to attack. Please, show yourself."
As soon as I do hear that, I mean, I've got no choice. I will stop concentrating on invisibility, and then I'm going to have my finger up as a gun. And I'm just going to do this in front of him, and then I'm going to point back towards
The camp?
the camp. And I'm going to go... God, who do I think is going to... I'm going to go Karnos. And I'm going to cast message.
What are you going to say?
Whatever you do, do not, and I repeat, do not attack. Friendly.
As I hear this come into my head, I'll be like, "Alright, everyone, Adok is talking in my mind, or I am going fucking mental." But he says, "Do not attack." And then he paused, and then he said, "Friendly." So I think that means don't attack. You all got that? Scafus.
What does he mean? Don't attack each other.
He just, it's in my head. He just said, "Don't attack."
Friendly
Adok.
what?
So you call that out, Karnos?
Yeah, I'm like, "Adok."
As soon as he does that, I'm just gonna, just very slowly, both hands this time, and then say to this guy in front of me, go, "Alright, so, name is Adok. The people in the camp there, not the brightest tools in the shed. Let me just smooth this over before it goes super wrong. Y'all need to stay here. I need to go very slowly and show them that I am okay."
Do you start to move?
No, I'm not moving.
He raises his hands as well in a non-aggressive manner and says, "Just one moment." And he lets out a very wolf-like howl. And the others respond. And all of you can hear them all around. They all respond. And what you guys see from the camp is, again, one by one, the eyes sort of lower level and then disappear, and then eventually stepping into the light of the fire, you see several human-like figures. after maybe 3 or 4 minutes, there's maybe 2 or 3 dozen all stepping, and they stepped and close enough to the campfire where you can see them in the firelight, but no closer. And the man talking to you, Adok, says, forgive me. We were out hunting and we saw your camp. We do not wish to alarm anybody. You are guests of Lord Strahd, are you not?
Yes. Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, Adok's the only one that can hear this at the moment.
He's gonna think, and then he's gonna. I mean, technically, yeah. Well, I guess in the year, taking against our will, but you know, either or.
We are also guests of Lord Strahd.
Yeah, I figured with the whole fur and sharp teeth.
Forgive me. My name is Kirill Sturnovoc. I am Alpha of Werewolf Clan. Most people attack on sight, so which is why we approach the way we do.
Yeah, right. Who would have done that to you, lot? That's a crazy notion. May I will be right back in one
Please.
second. I just got. All right.
And he allows you to leave, no problems. He turns, as you go to leave, he turns and makes eye contact with a few around him, and they all seem to relax. And he doesn't move any closer, he stays where he is, leaving you to return to the camp.
I'm gonna walk out and you're gonna see Adok with his just like shaking hands like this, like in the distance. Just and then I'm just gonna give up and then just yell, alright, just come over, like they're fine. You can just Jesus. Put your weapons down.
Feeble. I think he wants us to come over. Come on. Do we want to come over?
I'm assuming so because I got no idea where I am right now. So yeah, okay.
That's
you're in the
because
camp.
it didn't wake you up.
Yeah, you're in the camp with the rest of them. Like everyone would have been woken up inside the circle of the camp. The tents, however, have been destroyed from a previous fireball that went awry, but they're now on fire, which would have helped defend this camp. There's a makeshift bivouac of sorts in the trees which Kanos had made, where you would have been sleeping. Timothy would have been standing on guard with the alarm spell cast on him. Yeah, there's some events that happened earlier which were interesting.
Right, and we're not the most intelligent individuals.
No. Well, it was your fault for the fireball. So, well, not your fault directly. Not you directly. So with that, so you call them to come forward.
Yeah.
The one individual does. The rest remain outside of the camp and remain sort of in line of sight to a degree, as to not to cause any undue sort of threat. But they are still more or less encircled around the camp, and there's a lot more of them than there are of you, obviously. But Kirill approaches, and again, as he approaches, you guys see this huge hulking man, like in his early 40s, scruffy brown hair, beard, very well built, very broad shoulders, lots of scars. You can see many scars over his body. He's covered, like his privates are all covered, like he's wearing like a loincloth type thing, leather, barefoot, and he steps forward. At his full height, he doesn't seem intimidated at all, definitely very confident, and as he steps into the circle, he sort of looks around at the burning tents, which are now starting to sort of burn out and smolder, as there wasn't a whole lot left of them. And simply says again, apologies for the way we approach. We had to be sure you were not hunters. Many hunters hunt my kind in these lands.
I mean, we're not hunters of any sort. And you know, me personally, I've always loved wolves. I really have. You know, lovely sort of four quadrupedal looking things that could eat me at a moment's notice. Right, everyone else, we all love these. You're welcome here, is what I'm trying to say, basically. This is my friend, everyone.
He
Yours.
grins at you in a way that would suggest he knows that you're he saw you, well, didn't saw you, he sensed your fear as he approached, even though you were invisible. So yeah, he rolled a pretty high insight check at that point.
Carlos leans over to Zedriel and goes, and he doesn't keep it too quiet, he goes, didn't he pee himself under a bed when Emilia's face was a wolf that time?
The end soiled himself on several occasions, yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yes.
And with
He
that,
is
Carol
the
sort of sniffs
utmost.
the air again and sort of says, I agree.
Where I'm from, that's a sign of excitement and acceptance.
Yes, our dog is very accepting. But my name is Adriel, this is Carlos, this is Feeble, and his friend Timmy, and this Owl, and this is Kethus.
Pleasure. As I said, my name is Kirill. I am Alpha of my clan. We were out hunting, saw the fire, smelt, found your scent. You are easy to determine, but we were not sure if you were hunters or not, which is why we approached the way we did, just in case. But it's clear you're not a werewolf hunter. But you are guests of Strahd, yes?
I repeat Edak's motion.
Define guest.
Yeah.
Kethus.
Can you define what you mean by
Feeble.
Guest is a relative term in these lands. Guest could mean invited, or lured, or kidnapped and brought here, as we were, or as our forebears were, we say. A werewolf was not native to these lands, and ancestor brought here by Strahd's minions and forced to do his bidding. Not all of us feel this way.
How do you feel about Strahd?
Sort of see him grimace a little bit and sort of cracks his neck from one side to the other. I do what I must to survive for my clan. But as long as I do not openly defy him, we're okay. Now, right now, you are no threat to us. So I let you go.
And I, for one, humbly thank you for that. That is what a lovely gentleman you are. To let us go, everyone, and not be, uninvited guests of Strahd.
Next encounter, however, may not be so friendly. Not because we want to, mind you. Sometimes we have no choice. You are aware that Strahd has power over mind and creature of my blood.
Does he control you?
Often, if he needs to. In fact, we were there on the mountain when you faced him, waiting for him to instruct us to tear you to pieces. He did not, which was strange. But he
My
played
friend
games.
Fribble here, this little crazy guy with a big giant robot, he is somewhat of a genius. Is there some way, do you think, he could help you get free of this control that Strahd has? And if he did,
You are
would
funny.
you aid us?
Strahd has had
No, he's the
control
funny one.
for many generations. This is a curse that we live with, something we cannot control. When he is not controlling us, we run free. This is the freedom that we enjoy and revel in when we can. We design to our fate. Yours, however, may not be set just yet. You are traveling north. Which village do you visit? Vallaki, perhaps?
We are heading to Krezk. Do you know anything about it?
The abbot is who you seek, yes?
Well, perhaps anything that could be of use there.
The abbot is quite mad. You may not find him agreeable. Depends on day. Some days he is okay. Most days he is not.
Think we will stop possibly at Vallaki to use the forge for the stump.
Be aware of Vistani. They live near Vallaki. They are not to be trusted. Even those that seem friendly are not. They are out for their own gains, nothing more.
Are their children wicked as well?
How much do you know about Barovia? How long have you been here? We sensed you in the west and in the south maybe a couple of weeks. Have you been here longer than this?
Fibble, you've got a calendar, right?
Feels like a month or so.
Roll a history check if you want to try and determine your length of time in Barovia. It has been some time indeed.
12.
12? 3 weeks-ish, Fibble, maybe? Zadriel, closer to 4, maybe longer.
I feel like a month, maybe more.
Then you know of the people in Vallaki. People in this place. We are not, how you say, not in the real world. This is another place. Place inside a place. In between places. You hear of Shadowfell? Maybe. This is inside shadows. Strahd is its lord, its maker. You hear the phrase, I am the ancient, I am the land. This is true, almost literal. For he is who he is, and this is his domain. Many creatures here have no souls. In fact, most are soulless and are trapped here, just as you are.
Now, Strahd tells it slightly differently to us. He says that we can free him.
Of course he can be freed. Death frees us all, does it not? So to speak.
I don't think that's what he was meaning.
Take from it what you will. But, sniffs the air and sort of rocks backwards and forwards a little bit. Time is growing short. We must be going. Strahd is on the move. We may not be able to control ourselves if we are still here when he arrives.
We say time is growing, Fibble, just so you know.
Whatever your traditions. And with that, he gives a relatively deep bow, but never takes his eyes off you. And says, I bid you farewell, travelers of Barovia. May we not meet again.
Farewell. And I make sure I'm making eye contact with Skaseth and he's taking it in.
And with that, he sort of, again, turns and looks at you, Adok, and grins as his transformation starts to kick in. and his teeth start to elongate. His human teeth they start to crack and drop out of his jaw as the canine teeth replace them. His face starts to elongate and take the shape of the canine snout. His eyes switch to the wolf-like eyes, and his ears and fur start to grow as he turns and literally bounds off into the darkened forest. And as the rest of them sort of turn and disappear into the darkness, you once again you hear them take off. Like, you literally hear them move through the forest, and you start hearing the howls as they start moving away. And within 5 or 10 minutes, you no longer hear them. Just the sound of the campfire, the smell of burnt cloth and fabric from the tents still filling your nostrils, wisps of smoke coming from the remains of that. But the quiet of the night has returned, and you are all left standing around your campfire. Looking at Zadriel's shield, you've maybe got 2 or 3 hours of sunlight left, nighttime left before the sun is due to rise. You will need to maybe sleep a couple of extra hours past sun up to get your full rest. But for all intents and purposes, you're now alone again.
Oh my god. Oh, I thought I was going to be eaten so many times.
They must have smelled the smell of burning flesh, Adok.
Yeah. Well, once again, my apologies, but we've all made mistakes before, right?
So-
Yeah. And may I mind you that it was me that stopped all of these werewolves from attacking you all, because if it was left up to you, you would have shot at first sight. Whereas me, I was brave enough to spot them ages ago. I went there, yeah, I spoke to them like I took a page out of your book, Carnos, like a hero, and I was like, these are my friends, we mean you no harm, but I'm not afraid of you, but if puff comes to shove, I'll do something bad. And that's what I said to him. I mean, you didn't hear it, but
Shut up already, Adok.
You
Yeah,
know
right.
what, Adok? Thank you. Actually, I mean, I don't believe it, but you're probably right. You saved the day. So, and I give him a gold.
Yeah, I'll take the gold. Yeah. Matter of fact, he's going to hold out his hand to everyone else. Go on. You're live. 1 gold each.
I mean, if you admitted you shit your pants because I can smell it, I would have given you more. But, it's a good story.
Like, how much more? How much? We
10?
Oh, I definitely. It was a bit. It was a turtle at the start, and then it just full follow through towards the end. So, I mean,
Good night. I can finish the
Diplomacy.
watch. Go to sleep.
Carnel's hands Adok a gold. And I go over to Fibble and I go, hey, so what we were saying before about putting Scathus's hand back on, do you think that's a thing you can do?
No. I could make a mechanical one that would replace his current one.
Yeah, that's what I'm meaning, yeah. How much would you need? Some gold and bits for that? I've got some platinum and some gold I can help out with.
No, gold and platinum are too soft. We need something stronger than that, so...
No, I mean to purchase the parts.
Oh, yeah, that'll work too.
How much do you need?
I don't know. This place is pretty expensive, so probably all of it.
So here you go. Have...
No, you carry it. And
Okay.
you can
When you
pay
need
for
it,
it when I get all the stuff.
all right, you just tell me what it's going to cost. I just want Scathus to get his. I just want to get his hand back. I feel a bit bad. I reacted because I thought he was doing something wrong, and now I get the feeling that maybe he was. No idea. He was still doing something wrong. I just feel bad.
Yes. We can fix him. Maybe.
Right. Anything
Although-
else before you guys bed down to complete your rest?
No, I'm good.
Haddock, Scathus?
Nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
Zedriel?
Her system died, so yeah, she's just back.
Here we go. Anything Zedriel wants to do before returning to sleep? And I think Karnos is probably the only one that would have potentially got a long rest because you were going to make last watch. So
Correct, yeah.
so you would be able to stay up and still gain the benefits of a long rest if you wish to stay up for the remainder of the evening.
Yeah, I will, yeah. I'll click the long rest button too.
Zadriel's good. Zadriel's just going to take off armor and sleep for a few hours, and
No worries.
that's it.
So you all return to some semblance of sleep, all except for Karnos, who remains awake, ever vigilant of the potential return of said creatures. Maybe not trusting exactly your intention, I would imagine, knowing what you know about Barovia. They seemed on the level. Kind of hard to tell. But your watch goes without relative incident. Like, you don't really hear or see anything further as the sun starts to rise.
During my watch, Karnos would pull the sun sword out and just keeping an eye on things, but he'd just be practicing, like swing like a head chop, stab towards a heart, swing like a head chop, swing like a leg chop, just really taking practice and imagining Strahd the whole time as he's just focused.
Make a wisdom save for me. I want to see whether focusing on Strahd with the sun sword specifically triggers any kind of emotional response.
Save, yep.
Yep.
11.
You go through the first few motions of making the swinging attacks, the parries, the sweeps, all those attacks you know so well. You've been a hero for a long time. You've been almost born with a sword in your hand. You've grown up with it. It feels comfortable. But as you start focusing more and more on Strahd, the feelings that you're receiving are not your own after a short term, and they almost take over to a certain degree. Those feelings of anger, hatred, resentment come through, and at a moment you stop and think, okay, that's weird, and then you realize you have the sun sword in your hand and that those feelings are still there, and you know they're not yours. You know that they're coming from the sword and from Sergei. You understand it. You definitely understand you roughly know the story of what happens. You understand the animosity and the hatred. But it's kind of odd to feel those feelings firsthand, feelings that you know are not yours.
While I'm feeling like that, I just look over at Scathus sleeping.
Okay. The remainder of your watch goes without incident. The sun starts to rise. About an hour after sunrise, the rest of your companions start to stir. Thank you, Ribbon, for the advantage. So as you start to rise, you start to stir, you see like everyone starts to wake and stir. I'd say by now you would have organised a hot pot of water to brew coffee on the fire.
Oh yeah, Karnos has cooking. I'm gonna roll some cook. I'm gonna find some roadkill. Oh, that
So
was
you're gonna go for a search. Before you roll your cooking check, roll survival first to see what you find. See what's in the area for you to find to cook up. 13. Takes you a little while, but you find some wild mushrooms. You spot a rabbit or a large hare, it seems, larger than a rabbit, off in the distance. An easy shot for you with a hand axe. Not a problem. You fire the hand axe, it takes it down, skin it, you cut it up, you put it in. What do you tell me how you cook it? Whether you're going to roast it, boil it, whatever.
Yeah,
For the 15, you've done pretty well. So.
Yeah, so I'm going to be there like a bit of the old rabbit stew with a bit of some of the bits and pieces of fine, because roasting would definitely take ages. But the old stew will be cooking while they're waking up.
Yeah, so probably cook for about an hour before they wake. So the smell, as you guys wake, you wake to the smell of a hot stew being cooked on the open fire. You can hear it bubbling away as you wake. Coffee is being brewed as well. The smell of freshly brewed coffee over an open fire is hanging in there as well, as you all come to your senses for the next day. So you all gain the benefits of a long rest, and the new day is yours. What are we going to do this morning before setting out? Nothing?
Is there a way to maybe pour my canteen over ad hoc to clean him up or something?
I would say so. I mean, Fibble has the ability to create food and water. I would assume you would have done that before you guys rested. And that lasts for 24 hours, does it not? Yeah, so there'd be enough. There's like 60 gallons of water. So you would have plenty of water still left over from the night before, where you could clean yourselves up 100%.
Feed and water the horse and dump some on Adok to wake him up. It probably smells like pee.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Kick skates us and everyone. It's time to go. What do you think? We load up the cart?
Did we unload the cart?
Wasn't really a lot to load on the cart or unload. I mean, you had what was in your packs. That was pretty much it. You no longer have your tents.
Everything else is burnt, yes.
I'd say even
Tents that we no longer have.
Yeah, I'd say your bedrolls probably would have been pretty well incinerated as well. So you would have been sleeping on the ground. So you probably don't have a whole lot to pack up at all.
I'll tend to the horse and get it hitched up and all that.
Roll animal handling for me, Skathis.
With disadvantage?
No, not with disadvantage. You're good. You got one hand. It's not. I mean, you're just hitching. Actually, yeah, roll a disadvantage. Bugger it. You said it, so why not?
8.
You struggle. I mean, you go I would imagine you've only just lost your hand, so it's like that whole thing of like amputees losing their limb. They have the phantom limb. You think it's still there, and you go to use both hands to hook the reins up, and think, shit. Go back to using only your left hand because it was your right hand severed. So it takes you a little while, but you do get it. It looks awkward. Anyone who's sort of looking on would see him kind of struggling. Whether you decide to intervene or not, or just let him do it, is up to you. But you do eventually do it on your own if left to it, but it's definitely a struggle. Advantage to Adok.
I will help Skathis, giving him normal roll, I guess. If I see him struggling, I'll walk over and help.
So you give him a help. I mean, won't need to worry about rolling again. We'll just if Skathis accepts the help, it will take less time to do. Does Skathis accept the help, or does he refuse?
Yeah, I accept.
So you probably cut that time in half. So what would have normally taken you about 35-40 minutes to organise this, you take down about 15 or 20 minutes with Zadriel's help. And the rest of you eat, organise yourselves, you extinguish the fire. Carnos picks up all his cooking tools and packs those up. You pack yourselves up ready to go. Anything else you wish to do or discuss before setting out on the road again?
Adok would just be completely useless because I'm going to be reading.
He's going to continue to read. How long did you have to read before that worked? I can't remember.
I think you said 48 hours. And
Pretty sure
I
it was
didn't
48
that it
hours,
resets,
yeah.
So
how much are you up to now? Aren't you only done like 6
12?
hours? 12 hours. Okay, so you're about
No, 12.
You're about
Yeah.
quarter of the way through. Okay, so keep marking down those hours. So this is where I think if you guys are okay with it, we might do a little bit of a jump in time, a couple of days, because we don't want to have 12 sessions of you traveling between now and Krezk, because that could get a little boring. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have who is going to be driving the wagon for the next day, the day long period.
I vote Karnos drive.
Does Karnos accept the vote by Skathis?
If no one else objects, I don't mind driving the cart. Me and the horse have a kind friendship. Not the same friendship that Emilia had with Skathis, but close.
Oh shit. Okay. Easy enough done. So Karnos, you take the reins. No need for the animal handling from you. You've done this several times.
Yeah, unless someone else wants to drive a cart. I don't want to be a cart hog. I mean, Zadro, you love horses, right?
I'm okay. Sitting in the back, maybe guarding, but Adok loves horses, actually.
Yeah, but you remember what happened last time he drove a horse? Skathis is dead against letting him drive again. How about you, Fibble?
I did not get...
Yes. Let me try.
Don't let people drive.
And I hand the reins to Fibble.
So you did. They are. Here you go. Fibble, do you accept?
We're about to have a three-legged horse.
So Fibble and Karnos switch places. Timothy in the back of the cart. Fibble, you will need to make an animal handling check, because I don't believe you've driven a horse here before. Not yet, anyway. I don't know how much experience Fibble's had with horses in the past. I think you muted yourself there, sir.
Yeah, no, I clicked the roll and it just didn't roll for ages.
7. It's pretty bad.
Yes.
So I'd say that Fibble's not had a lot of experience with horses in the past. And you've been watching Karnos, so you grab the reins, you sort of look around and go, all right. You flick the reins. The horse starts with you're a little bit more aggressive than Karnos has been, and the horse takes off at a bit of a faster pace, which is a bit of a struggle because you've got large old Timothy on the back, which is slowing the whole thing process down anyway. So the horse is struggling. Karnos, if you are sitting sort of up the front and keeping an eye on things, you would notice that the horse is starting to sweat quite heavily as it's really trying to move a lot faster than it should be with this heavy load.
I'll be like,
You can all hear it panting pretty heavily after about 10 or 15 minutes.
Fibble, just ease back a bit on the speed, mate. It's not like riding your lady. You got to take it a little bit easier.
Where's the speed controller?
Just pull on the reins a little bit to slow the horse up a little, and then just don't have to whip hell out of it. It's. I mean, you wouldn't like it if Zadriel put reins over your face and yanked on you and gave you a kick while she was riding you, right?
Karnos, if you're going to backseat drive, just get up there and do it.
No, I'm just trying to teach. This is about knowledge, teaching and learning. Anyway, you said you liked the back seat.
What? Okay. So, pull back on the reins to slow the horse down a little bit.
So we won't need another animal handling check. So you slowly, you rein it in just a little, and the horse slows, and then eventually stops panting heavily, and you can see it's starting to relax into a stride. So what I will need from one of you in the cart is a D20 roll, please, for this day of traveling. A 1 from Skathis.
Skathis, how do we know you're going to roll a 1?
as you are traveling through this day, the weather turns pretty nasty. The rain starts to fall. It is not thunder and lightning, but it's a pretty heavy rainfall. It does slow your journey down somewhat, not hugely, but it definitely slows it down to a point where you could almost get out and walk the speed that you're traveling, but you've got no choice. You find a few really deep muddy patches in the road. You almost get stuck at one point. You manage to work your way through, but you wind your way through the hills of this area and then wind your way back, heading now more northward once again. You find yourselves a suitable area to camp for another evening. Your evening goes without incident. You do hear the familiar sounds of the dozens of wolves, this time solely from the north. You get the impression that this group of wolves that you've run across spend a lot of time in the northern and the western areas of Barovia, potentially. Next day comes, the rain has subsided somewhat. It's still drizzly and wet. No sign of Strahd through that day at all. I'd dare say you would be keeping an eye out for any signs of him as well, but no sign of him in that 24-hour period. Who is driving the cart for the second day of travel?
Yeah, you're getting the handle of it.
Feeble?
Fibble again?
Oh no.
Fibble's starting to enjoy this. So Fibble, after a day of traveling with the horses, you seem to get the hang of it. So I'll get you to roll another animal handling, please.
Why is it rolling so bloody slow?
You rolling through Foundry or through D&D Beyond? Oh, D&D Beyond. Yeah, it is a little bit slow, D&D Beyond tonight. Another low roll was 7.
And it's another 7.
Another 7.
Really?
You know where it's Yanti.
Hey, rolled 4 again.
Another 7. So again, I mean, you're not great. I wouldn't say it's bad. I mean, you again probably start out with a bit of a hiss and a roar, and remember, oh shit, that's right. Carnal said slowly, so you rein it back in, and continue your journey. So I need someone else, not Skathis this time, to roll a d20, please. As we travel for the next day, which will get you back up to the main road, the old Slavic road. A 2.
A lovely 2.
A lovely 2. With a 2, your first part of your journey goes with relative ease. As you're traveling through a set of trees, you've seen this before. You notice the webbing in the treetops on the left-hand side of the road. It's sort of stretching in the trees, and then you hear this weird sound. It sounds almost like a squealing coming from the trees, and as you all look over to see what it is, you see a large deer caught up in this webbing, and it's squealing and moving, and just the more it moves, the more it gets tangled up, and the more it squeals. Next thing you see the 2 large figures sort of descend out of the trees from either side, quickly skittering down through the trees over the webbing, descending on this deer, and then plunging their fangs into the deer. And after maybe 2 or 3 minutes, after the deer sort of struggling, the screaming stops, and the deer slowly stops moving. Once it stops moving, you watch these 2 large arachnids just start wrapping it up in webbing, just both of them encircling it sort of between their hind legs, twisting and weaving their web and turning it into a great big cocoon of webbing before one of them carries it off back into the treetops and disappears, as does the other one, disappearing into the shadows as you pass by. You've fought these creatures before. You know that you're no threat to them while you're on the road, and they're no threat to you. Well, obviously they've caught their food for the day, it seems. So not too much of an incident there. You continue onward through what would be normally the heat of the day. The drizzle stops, and normally the sun would come out and warm the day, but the cloud cover is thick, the fog still settling high in the hills, and then slowly settling into the valleys. You continue on, again without too much of an incident. As you move further northward, eventually you come to the turn-off on the old Slarbitch Road. You know you have to turn westward here to head towards the bridge, towards the Baratok Pool, where you had encountered the large tower, which you inadvertently destroyed in the process. As you approach, the sun starts to go down. You have camped by this bridge before. I need all of you to make a perception roll for me, please, as you start to approach. So we got a natural 1 from Karnos. You would get a +5 too, guys, because Zadriel is in the cart with you. So
Carlos will take the one as he's sort of, I feel like he's saying, now Fibble, you got that right. Just a little to the right, little to the left. Don't
No
be so rough on
worries.
those horses. Poor horse, my poor.
no problem.
Listen, this is the thing. It's my horse at the moment. Shut up.
No, I mean, that's fair. But when you get off it and he kicks you in the face because you've been rough on him, you won't appreciate that.
He doesn't
And you're
kick
only
me in
little.
the face. I don't
Well,
know.
not yet.
He's going to be kicking Skathis. I don't unstrap him. I'm not big enough. And I think D&D Beyond has it in for me because that's the fourth.
I know, I saw that.
4 in the row.
roll a couple more and just make sure it's not being a jerk.
just make sure it's not bugged. I want to see that. Just pick something to roll. Another perception check, perhaps. Because yeah, that's kind of weird that it's rolled. No, see, there you go. I know it hasn't come through yet. Holy crap. Yeah, you might want to reload it maybe.
Yeah, there's something wrong there. That's another 4.
Yeah,
That's another 4.
4
It's
4s in a
definitely
row.
not
Yeah,
worth
I would reload it
working.
or use physical dice, dude.
No, I'm going to do a quick restart because
Yeah.
something updated in the background. So maybe it's that's
Okay.
actually.
Yeah, you do a restart,
stuff.
which kind of fits because we're going to take another little camp here anyway. So with your perception checks, Adok and Skathis and Zadriel, you can roll perception too if you want. This is for everyone. So as you approach the bridge, which you know you need to turn onto to head north towards the village of Krezk, as per the map that you have, you look off just out of curiosity. You look off into the distance, and even with, see, why is yours only rolling with a +1? That's weird. Your perception's not +1 on D&D Beyond, is it? Oh, it is. Oh wow. Okay.
It is.
That's random. Anywho, I thought it was higher than that. My bad. So yeah, so you probably don't really notice it until someone points it out. Adok and Skathis, you notice that the tower that you had blown to pieces probably almost 2 weeks ago, now stands proudly in the distance.
That's weird. I thought that got destroyed. Over there in the distance, the tower.
Oh, you're right. That's crazy. Do you see that, Zadriel?
Is that the same tower?
I believe it is.
Kind of hard to tell from this distance, but it looks the same.
Would be much benefit if we had a bit of a look. Maybe.
On the way back.
Yeah, it's actually good news, right?
Maybe Valaki is put back together?
Yeah, and how many days did that take? Because then maybe Skathis' hand will just grow back naturally.
Skathis is not a building.
Well, he sort of is. A big, demonic, red building. Made of meat and bones and breathy stuff.
Is your limbs regrowing, Carlos?
No, but I didn't lose mine here. Mine was a terrible accident, not of this plane. This has happened here, right? Do you see what I'm getting at? I'm not a genius. Maybe Fibble.
Would you like me to help you lose something else? for science, you know.
Zedriel, I was trying to save you from any danger.
That's right, that's true.
I do feel like your anger is not aimed at the right target.
That's true, you're right. And I give Kanos 1 gold.
I'll tell you what, can you keep the gold? I had a couple of drinks out of my flask and some person has changed him to water again, and I would like that back to wine, please.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Strahd.
You did say that,
Strahd
didn't you?
must be doing all these crazy things. That's terrible, Kanos, and I give him some wine.
Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Maybe your magic is running low. Maybe you know how you get like... when you're running out of steam or energy, maybe the magic wears off and it goes back to water on its own. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Maybe
We should test it.
Well, maybe because see, the last few nights we haven't actually prayed to the DM properly. We've been worried about other things. Maybe we need to have a sit down, a little prayer hour together tonight.
A little circle of the DM, yes.
Yeah, the DM circle. Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah, we'll call it the DM's ring. We'll be able to get everyone to sit around the edges of it.
Maybe that would be like a team building exercise or something.
Yeah. Though I know Mr. Stubbs not really into, deities and things.
I mean, he has his own little deity for little gnomes, I think.
Oh, do gnomes have like a cute little shoe-sized deity?
I think so. You'll have to ask him about it, but he does worship something.
Oh. And did you have a deity? I forget.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of our people sort of think that the goblin deity is more like a slave master rather than an actual deity or someone you worship. It's about enslavement of the races and controlling the masses, and it's not really something that I want to be part of. So it's probably why I'm grey. Probably scorned me, not green anymore.
Oh yeah. And Scathus, oh no, we've been over this, I remember. You don't believe in anything, right?
Just remaining silent.
So, we will say that was probably part of a campfire conversation, as you had probably rested before crossing the bridge. The next morning, you wake. Again, the night going without incident. You, from where you are, you can't see the township of Vallaki because it is off in the distance, but you are aware of where it is from where you are. You had talked about possibly going to use the forge. Whether you guys discuss that further before setting off northward is up to you. So we'll sort of turn it back over to you. Are you going to continue northward at this point, or are you going to detour to Vallaki first?
Is Feeble driving?
No one's driving at this point. I'd say this is before you set off for the next day. So I'll pause the wagon and the horse just till Fibble comes back.
Feeble's back.
Is he back? Okay, so I need to re-add him to the thing. He's back.
Carnots, you wanted to go straight to Krezk, yes? You're muted.
Oh, you're right. Something was stuck in my mouth. Yeah, I had that dream, and I really thought we should be going to Krezk, but I don't want to stand on anyone's plans. If anyone wants to go anywhere else, that's fine. But I do feel like we've been urged to get to Krezk quicker, sooner rather than later.
I will also go as far to say that over the course of the last 2 or 3 days, Karnos, the closer you get to Krezk, the feelings you get from the sword is excitement, anticipation. It's definitely, the closer you get there, you definitely feel that that's definitely where you need to be going.
And it seems like this sword, and I hold up the sun sword, has got a big hard on for this place. The closer we get, the more excited and solid it seems to get.
Ugh. Okay, put it away, Carlos. It's fine. I only said Valaki because when I was talking to those people, you made this face, so
Oh yeah,
it was a kind of a deterrent.
yeah. I think you kind of moved that up anyway. I was thinking by telling the wolf people who said they're not friends of Strahd, who are actually controlled by Strahd, that we're going to Krezk, which is actually where we're going, and then telling them we're going to Valaki, which is not where we're going. I feel like they would know where we're going. Fibble, that makes sense to you, right?
You know I don't give a shit, right?
You muted. You both eating something. Did I interrupt?
No.
He's still muted. He says fine. He's chewing on a ration.
No, he's not muted. It's using a different source.
It's weird.
Yeah, check your mic source. I think it was coming through a different source.
He's saying I look beautiful today, and he is agreeing with everything I say wholeheartedly. You don't hear him because he's eating bacon, but that is always what he says every morning.
Yeah, well, look,
He looks
By
a bit
telling-
constipated, though.
by telling the wolf people we're going to Krezk, they'll go back to Strahd, Strahd us, and say, Strahd will go, oh, hey, wolf people, where are those guys going I told you to keep an eye on? And then the wolf guy will go, oh, they're going to Krezk, because the lady with the shield and the hammer that smashes heads says they're going to Krezk. Oh, and then we'll be like, oh, shit, now they know where we're going. So no matter what we do at Krezk, they'll be keeping their eye on us.
Do we care?
I mean, yes, we do. Because
Yeah, we're probably getting help at Krezk to defeat Strahd is what I feel like we're doing.
yeah,
So-
look at you, Carlos, growing and getting smarter and everything. So proud of you.
Well, thank you, Zadriel here, and I give her a platinum piece.
Oh, there we
You know,
go.
this is
Your rolls are better now.
unbalanced.
Fibble.
You only gave me one. That's a shame.
Yeah, it's been since some of these deaths. I have a little less worry about keeping everything even.
It's odd.
You're right.
So with that, you all clamber back onto the horse and cart. Who is driving the horse and cart this day?
Come on, Fibble, you're getting the hang of it, mate. Your turn. Drive it again. This time, just ease off. When you take the hand, there's like a handbrake thing. Just ease that off as you whip. I'll let you go. You do it.
Where are you sitting, Carlos?
Right next to you on the driver's area.
Okay, so Fibble would go and then throw him at him and start walking towards Timmy.
Okay then, so no animal handling check from Fibble because he's just going to G up the horse and then toss the reins at you, Carlos. And I would say dexterity check, Carlos, to see if you can catch him because I don't know if you'd be expecting it or not. Welcome, Raiders.
9.
Ooh, you probably fumble a little bit and drop one down at your feet. You probably catch the other one between sort of two fingers. You're able to gather up the others without too many hassles, but just sort of takes you by surprise as he sort of tosses the reins and then sort of steps back over and walks back to the back of the wagon.
I try to sort of gather control of it as the horses is trying to take off with Timmy not even on the back. Hold up, hold up, hold up. And I go, fucking Fibble, I'll get him for that.
And you set out for
You got
your
control, no worries.
you set out for your what seems to be your third and final day of travel. As you cross the bridge, find the break in the road, which you find a sign that says leads to Krezk, points up towards the north. And you can probably see in the very, very distance, as you break through the trees, the village of Krezk. As the snow starts to fall, this area is in the north of Barovia, and there is a mountain up behind what you can see, and through the fog, the shape of a large abbey or large building. Just you can see the outline of it. You're not sure what it is, but you can sort of see it set against the mountain. So you know that the furs that you had in Mount Garcus is going to definitely come in handy here as the snow starts to fall as you get closer and closer. No need to roll again for this one. This day of travel is slow but steady. No great drama. You get about halfway there and you can now see the outskirts of Krezk. It is a walled community.
How many days has it been?
3.
DM? Okay.
Yeah, in 3 days. Well, 2.5. You're sort of halfway through your 3rd day. Just remember what we discussed is permanent. So, as you approach, you can't really see any movement from the walls from this distance, but you get closer and closer and closer. And what we see is... Oh, why do I not own a token on this? None of you can see that, can you? Hang on, I got the vision eyeballs up.
Nope.
Hang on. I didn't set the vision. There we go. Now you should be able to see it. So this is pretty much what you're seeing as you start to approach. The snow's starting to fall steady. You can see the closed gate and the guard towers of the outskirts of what you believe is the village of Krezk. On the large sort of hilltop off to the north, you can see the walled building of what you believe is the Abbey of St. Markovia. And that is where we're going to call tonight's session, guys, as you approach the village of Krezk, and we'll pick up there next week. Thank you, players, for joining us again tonight. I know Fibble probably started a little bit of a start. He was a little confusing as you sort of come in at a bit of interesting moment. But he didn't miss too much before that, apart from Adok setting a fireball off in the camp and hurting everybody. You only took like 4 damage, so you would have been fine. Shield Guardian took the brunt of that for you. Stop those.
Yeah, that's what happens when somebody decides to cast Fireball in the middle of camp.
Indeed, indeed.
Isn't that right, Adok?
It was pretty good. I mean, like, I could have let him get away with it and had him say that he was casting Firebolt, like I think his intention was, but he said the words Fireball, so I ran with it. And why not? So we're going to go back to our start page here. So team, we have come to the conclusion of episode 76 of our Curse of Strahd campaign. Chat at Evldoa, if you have a moment that would like us to read out from tonight's session. I know there was a bunch of clips tonight, a bunch of moments. We're going to go through our players first, but at Evldoa, put your comment in. We'll read them out after we've gotten through the players. Thank you, Rice Bits, for joining us. I knew that was coming, Magic. We'll start with Karnos tonight. A moment or 3 from you, please, sir.
No, start with Cam. He's got to shoot off early.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay. Chicken.
Yeah.
Start with you.
I thoroughly enjoyed the whole encounter with the werewolves. That was fun. A little throwback. I expected us to all fight, but then Zadriel's little misty step, which was cool as well. And then
It could have been so much cooler though.
Yeah, I was hoping it would either be a really successful thing or like a nat 1, because either way it would have been great for it to go wrong.
Definitely.
But yeah, and I just liked Skathus's I think Zadriel put it well, how he's got a bit of a ego boost since being resurrected. It's interesting though to have a more aggressive Skathus.
Indeed. Is that all from you, sir?
Oh, there is. There is more, but I'm going to let other people take
No
that.
worries. Karnos. Karnos the hero.
Yeah. I had So I liked when Adok picked up Skathus's hand and then did the old, close the fingers down till it was given and flipping the bird. I also thought it was funny that Adok sort of whispered into Carlos's ear, "Hey, Skathus is unbalanced, I thought that was pretty good. And then Zadriel's used the stump comment.
Spiky stump.
I can't remember exactly how they went down, but I was like, yeah, full of filth, just as usual.
Yeah. Talking about using the spiky stump to pleasure himself. Yes, that sort of came out there. We expect nothing. We expect nothing less, honestly. I mean, you guys are terrible, and I've gotten used to it. Fiddlesib, I know you've only just come in the second half, so there's probably not too much going on in the second half. But anything that stood out for you in the second half?
Coming in and finding out that all my shit's been burnt because some idiot cast fireball in the camp and then says to, the wolves, they're not the most smartest. So just give me a second to talk to them. And it's like, wait a minute. I come in and find out you've set fire to the fucking camp and you're saying we're not smart?
Yeah, that's Adok.
Right. That's pretty much all I remember.
No worries. Skathus, the one-handed wonder.
Okay, so bye, Cam.
That is Cam. See you next week, bro.
I do like the antics with my hand.
Do you?
That was fun.
That's pretty grotty, man. I mean, we don't want to know about your hand antics. I mean, really.
Just Cam in general, just being the chicken shit that he is.
I think he did pretty well. His chicken is always interesting. I mean, you all are. The RP in this campaign has been brilliant. I love it. And lastly, but not leastly, Zadriel.
No, most of the people said it. I like the werewolves. They were really cool and how they were introduced. Adok's negotiations and trying to be like, warn us that he's talked to them. That was really good. That's pretty much it for me, I think, because there was a lot said.
There was a lot. Magic says definitely the fireball. I think the fireball incident was probably the viewer favorite tonight by the looks of it as well. Before we go any further, thank you Lily Kappa, Just Another TV, for the follows, and Punked Pyro Shadow for the raid as well. Dice Legends for the host, and the raid, they raided as well. And Rice Bits for the follow, and Lad Dob for the follow as well, and Magical Hack for the raid. So 3 raids tonight. Cheers guys for dropping your communities over here to little old us and our Curse of Strahd campaign. As I've said probably multiple times over the last probably 10 sessions, we are getting into the latter stages of our story. We have a couple of players that IRL commitments have them not been able to be here as often as they would like, so it may accelerate my timeline just a touch, but we'll see how we go. Speaking of which, Mr. Stib, do you know whether you're going to be here next Wednesday for the whole session or for half a session? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but if you know now, that'll be cool. If you don't, let me know in the Discord. Just chuck me a DM when you find out.
I will look.
Yeah, just chuck me a DM, dude. We'll see that. And you said you were going to be here for Sunday, though. Maybe. I forget. But yeah, again, guys, for Sunday, keep an eye in the Discord for a cancellation. Obviously, this will be determined on how Mina and Grim and family are feeling. They have not been well, so make sure you guys let them know that you're thinking of them. And hopefully they get better really soon, and we can get them all back into the D&D stuff. So, but I will announce in Discord if we do cancel Sunday. Yanti, Friday night, you said you may be cancelling your D&D session, but You
Call
said you're
of
possibly
Cthulhu.
going to do a Call of Cthulhu on Friday instead.
Yeah, depending on the COVID's people's. Yeah.
See if more investigators die.
So, with that being said, again, keep an eye on Yanti's Discord. I'm sure she'll let you guys know in the Discord what is going on. If there is no D&D, there will be a Call of Cthulhu on Yanti's channel on Friday night, which I have offered my services for. So you may see me over there as well. If not, we'll see you guys on Sunday. And if we don't, I'll see you Sunday regardless. If there's no D&D, I'll be doing some more maps and D&D stuff anyway. Try and keep the D&D content going on those nights. So yeah. So definitely keep an eye on Discord, keep an eye on Twitter, follow all that stuff, do all the things and the stuff. Make sure you sub to the YouTube, catch up with the VODs, everything goes up there. And yeah, I think that's about it for us tonight. We still got a mod. Drax, can we get a shout out for Yanti? Make sure everyone knows, all the newbies and the raiders in it knows where they can find Yanti and her channel. Can we get a shout out for Magic the Gamer as well, please? Because Magic is a awesome content creator. He'll tell you he's a flog. Don't believe it. He's full of shit. But make sure you go check him out as well. Also, can we get another shout out for Dice Legends as well? Another Kiwi D&D channel. These guys stream their game on a Sunday lunchtime, New Zealand Standard Time, and then they normally do a recap on a Wednesday. But sometimes they do some other stuff on a Wednesday as well. Today they were chatting with Robert Hartley GM. Most of us in the D&D world know who he is. He's the DM for the Viva La Dirt League guys. An amazing DM and a really cool dude. I enjoyed hanging out and listening to that today. It was lots of fun. So we're going to find someone to raid. Who are we going to raid? Let me know if you got anyone that is playing D&D potentially. I will check my list as well. Turn that off so I can go to my thing without getting screenception.
I'll catch everyone later too.
No
Thanks,
worries,
guys.
Bears. I'll catch you on Saturday for our home game.
Sure, indeed. Thank you, and good night.
Good night. So who we got playing? We've got GM Workshop doing some D&D stuff. They're doing some collaborative world building. We've got Armin who's streaming as well. Lost Archives. We got the Motley Crusades, which we've raided before as well. Not Magic. Era Code's doing some music. Maybe we should raid Era. We're gonna see what Era's up to. See how long he's been on for. He's only just started. We're gonna go. We're gonna sort of jump away from D&D. Sorry for those D&Ds in the chat, but we're gonna raid a good friend of ours, Mr. Era Code, who is creating some music. The music that he has created. If you've seen our Sunday campaign, our intro music to our Sunday campaign is courtesy of Mr. Era Code. So we will go raid him and show him our support and what he's doing in his creative space. So thank you everybody for hanging out with us. I appreciate it very, very much. And we can't wait to see you guys again the next time we're live, which will be tomorrow. Tomorrow night I'll be doing more monster stuff. So come and hang out tomorrow for that. Put them in there. There we go. Start the raid. Do the thing and the stuff. Great session, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you tomorrow night for some D&D monster making.